The aliens cut our throats and found we bite back. HFY. Sci-Fi. The sky did not burn. It did not scream. It simply opened. People first noticed the silence. Birds stopped flying. The sea pulled back as if holding its breath. Then the lights across the coastal city went out at the same time. Not one by one. All at once, darkness rolled over the streets like a wave. Noah was at the docks when it happened. He worked late most nights, unloading old cargo ships that nobody cared about anymore. His hands were rough, his back always sore, and his life was simple. Work, sleep, repeat. When the lights died, he thought it was another power failure. That city had many of those. Then the sky split. Shapes slid through the clouds without sound. They were long and sharp, like metal shadows. No engines. No fire, just smooth movement, as if the sky itself carried them. Noah stared, frozen, his mouth dry. Around him, other dock workers pointed and shouted, their voices shaking. A deep pressure hit the air. Not a blast. More like the weight of something heavy pressing down on the world. People dropped to their knees. Some screamed, others could not even breathe. The first beam struck the far end of the port. Steel containers folded inward like soft clay. Water exploded upward. The shock knocked Noah off his feet. His head hit the concrete, and the world spun. When he pushed himself up, the city was already dying. Buildings fell in clean cuts, sliced from top to bottom. Streets cracked open. Sirens tried to scream, then went silent. Above, the shapes moved with calm purpose, choosing targets with cold care. No warning came, no message, no demand. They just started cutting. Noah ran. He did not think about where. His legs moved before his mind could catch up. He ran past burning trucks, past people frozen in shock, past bodies already still. Something screamed above him, and the air ripped apart. A tower nearby folded and collapsed, sending dust and heat across the street. He dove into a narrow alley and pressed himself against the wall. His chest hurt. Every breath felt sharp. He waited for pain, for death, for anything. Nothing came. Minutes passed, or seconds. Time felt broken. When he finally looked up, the sky was empty. The ships were gone. The silence returned thicker than before. Noah stepped back into the street. Fires burned without sound. Smoke climbed into the dark sky. The city he knew was torn open, bleeding. People began to move. Some cried. Some screamed names. Some just stood there, staring at nothing. Noah walked, his ears ringing, his hands shaking. He did not know where he was going. He just knew he could not stay at the docks. That was when the second wave came. This time, it was not from the sky. Figures moved through the smoke. Tall, thin, too smooth. Their bodies were covered in dark armor that seemed grown, not built. No faces, just narrow shapes where eyes should be. They moved fast. One of them raised its arm. A sharp sound cracked the air, and a man nearby dropped his throat open, blood pouring out in a sudden red line. No fight, no warning, just cut and gone. People ran again. Noah felt something inside him snap. Fear turned hot, like fire in his chest. He ducked into a broken shop and grabbed the first thing he saw, a heavy metal bar. His hands closed around it without thinking. A woman stumbled inside after him. She was bleeding from her arm, her face pale but focused. "They're killing everyone," she said, her voice steady despite the horror around them. "We can't stay." Noah nodded. Words would not come. "My name is Lena," she said. "I can still help people, if we live." They moved together through the back of the shop and into another alley. The city had become a maze of smoke and ruin. The alien figures hunted in small groups, moving with clean precision. They did not chase wildly. They selected, cut, and moved on, as if they were cleaning. Noah saw something strange then. One alien stepped toward an injured man who was crawling away, leaving a dark trail behind him. The man turned, raised a broken piece of concrete, and screamed as he swung it with everything he had. The alien stopped. It did not attack.
It stepped back. Just one step.
Small, but clear. Then another alien moved forward and ended the man with a fast, sharp motion. Noah stared. His heart pounded. They hesitate, he thought, just for a moment. But they hesitate. They found more survivors as night dragged on. A former rescue pilot named Rook, who had been thrown from the sky when his helicopter lost power. A teenager named Finn, who refused to stop talking, maybe to keep fear away. An older woman who never gave her name and carried a kitchen knife like it was part of her hand. They hid in the lower levels of an old flood tunnel near the sea. Water dripped from cracked concrete. The air smelled of rust and smoke. Above them, the city burned. They took the leaders first, Rook said quietly. Government buildings, military bases. Satellites, clean and fast. Lena wrapped his injured leg with strips torn from her own shirt. They planned this. The older woman shook her head. Plan doesn't mean perfect, a scream echoed from above, cut short too quickly. Noah sat with his back against the wall, staring at his hands. They were still shaking. He pressed them together until the shaking slowed. They're not here to rule, Finn said suddenly. If they wanted that, they'd talk. They're here to erase, Rook replied. Silence followed that word. Hours passed. Maybe more. No one slept. When footsteps echoed near the tunnel entrance, everybody went still. An alien figure appeared in the weak light filtering down from the broken street above. It was alone. It moved slowly, carefully, its head tilted, scanning. Noah's breath caught. His fingers tightened around the metal bar. The alien stepped forward. A loose stone shifted under its foot. The sound echoed. The alien froze. Noah did not think. He moved. He rose and charged, shouting a raw, broken sound that tore out of his chest. The metal bar came down hard against the alien's side. The impact rang through his arms. The alien shrieked. Not a roar. Not anger. Fear. It stumbled back, arms raised, movement sharp and panicked. It did not strike. It did not counter. It retreated. Rook lunged from the side and drove a broken pipe into the alien's leg. The armor cracked. Dark fluid spilled out. The alien screamed again, turned and fled toward the tunnel entrance, limping, desperate. They did not chase it. Everyone stood frozen, breathing hard, staring at one another. It ran, Finn whispered. Lena looked at Noah, her eyes wide. It ran. Noah's arms ached. His heart felt like it would tear itself apart. But beneath the fear, something else stirred. Not hope. Anger. They cut us without warning, he said quietly. They thought we'd break. The older woman nodded once. They were wrong. Above them, the city still burned. More ships might come. More people would die. But something had changed. The aliens had learned something tonight. Humans did not always fall quietly, and sometimes, when cut deep enough, they bit back. Noah's hand still shook as he gripped the metal bar. The taste of blood was in his mouth, not his own, but the dark fluid that dripped from the alien he had struck. Around him, the tunnel smelled of smoke, rust, and wet concrete. Lena cleaned a cut on her arm with a small cloth, her face pale but determined. Rook checked the old map he had carried from the city, muttering under his breath. Finn, the talkative teenager, paced nervously, muttering about the people left outside, about those who had no shelter, about the alien ships that might return at any moment.
We can't just hide, Rook said finally.
They will come back, and next time they won't hesitate.
Noah nodded. He understood the truth of it without needing words. The aliens were fast, clean, and deadly, but the one they had cornered had hesitated. That hesitation was all humanity needed. They moved quietly through the tunnels, emerging in the ruins of the city at night. Fires lit the streets in patches of orange and red. Shadows moved between the buildings, but not all of them were aliens. Some were survivors like them. People ran with whatever weapons they could find: pipes, knives, broken wood. They ran with fire in their eyes, a new kind of courage. Noah led the group through the rubble, trying to reach a safer part of the city. Lena and the older woman stayed close, Rook behind them, Finn babbling quietly, but carefully, about a route that avoided the larger streets. The sound of an alien ship moving above them made everyone freeze. The shadow passed overhead, silent, like a cloud sliding across the sky. The group pressed into a ruined building, holding their breath as the sound faded.
They hunt by fear, Rook said quietly. The faster you show it, the easier they take you.
If we act scared, we die. Noah tightened his grip on the bar. Fear had driven them this far. Now it had to turn into something else. Anger, maybe. Determination. Survival. They found a small group of survivors in a collapsed office building. One man, injured badly, leaned against the wall, clutching a bleeding arm. A woman held a young boy, trying to soothe him as he cried. Another man, barely older than Finn, had a rusty hammer in his hand and refused to let go.
They're cutting people too fast, the injured man said. We can't fight them like this.
We don't have guns, we don't have ammo. They just... His words ended as he glanced toward the shattered windows. The sky was black, but the faint movement of another alien figure could be seen. It paused, as if sensing them. Noah motioned for the group to stay down. He felt something deep in his chest, a mixture of fear and fire. The aliens were precise, but humans had something they could not predict: willpower. They could endure pain. They could fight even when they were dying. Finn whispered, "We need weapons. Anything. I can't just run." Noah nodded. He scanned the room, pulling pieces of broken furniture apart, turning wood and metal into crude weapons. The group did the same. Together they created a small arsenal: pipes, boards, metal rods, even stones. It was not much, but it would have to do. Hours passed. The group moved silently through the streets, avoiding the main roads. They watched as alien patrols cut through the city, each strike fast, precise, deadly. People who hesitated were gone in moments, but those who fought back, even in small ways, caused the aliens to hesitate. Noah saw it with his own eyes. A young woman threw a brick at one alien. It dodged, but did not strike immediately. Another survivor struck it with a pipe. The alien recoiled and then retreated, as if the humans were stronger than expected. "They learn," Lena said, her voice low. "Every time we fight back, they remember it. They are not invincible." Noah thought about what she said. They had been hiding, running, afraid. But now, they were learning too. The city was no longer just a place to survive. It was a place to fight. Rook led them to an old military communications bunker. He had seen it on a map years ago, when he flew over the city for work. The building was mostly intact, hidden under the rubble. They crawled through the broken entrance, careful not to make noise. Inside, it smelled of dust and metal. Old screens flickered with faint static. Noah ran his hands over the controls, but nothing worked. "The power lines were cut. We can still try to send a signal," Rook said. "Maybe someone outside is still listening." Lena helped him repair a small transmitter, using wires scavenged from nearby equipment. Finn watched, fascinated, asking questions, learning from every movement. The older woman kept watch at the entrance, knife in hand, ready for the next alien patrol. As the night deepened, the group finally had a moment to breathe. The city outside was quiet now, but quiet like a storm waiting to strike. Noah and Lena shared a look. They were tired, hurt, scared, but alive. That was something the aliens could not take. Not yet. Rook finally spoke, his voice serious. "We need to understand them, how they fight, what they fear, and what they cannot handle. They rely on fear. That's our advantage. If we can make them hesitate, even for a moment, we can survive." Noah nodded. He thought about the alien in the tunnel. how it had stumbled when he had charged at it, how it had hesitated before retreating. That single moment had given them hope. A low hum sounded from above. The group froze. The signal they had repaired flickered, faintly reaching out into the darkness of space. Noah held his breath. The hum grew louder. Not from the aliens above. They were far. It was different, almost mechanical, almost human. Rook's eyes widened. "Someone is responding," he whispered. "Someone is out there." The city was still a ruin. People were still dying, and the aliens were still hunting. But for the first time in hours, maybe days, hope flickered. The survivors moved cautiously toward the source of the hum, their crude weapons ready. The sound grew stronger, and a faint light appeared in the distance. They reached a collapsed plaza and found an old signal relay, powered up and working. Someone, or something, was trying to contact Earth. Noah looked at Lena.
"This is it," he said. "Someone heard us."
"We are not alone." The light from the signal reflected in the smoke and ruins, casting shadows that danced across the broken streets. The group knew the danger was far from over. The aliens could return at any moment, faster and more deadly. But now they had a chance to fight back, a chance to survive. And somewhere, out in the darkness of space, someone was listening. Noah felt his heart pound. They had survived the first night. They had survived the first attack. And now, the humans who remained alive were beginning to learn something that the aliens had never expected. Pain did not make them weak. Fear did not make them fall. Humans could endure, resist, and strike back. The aliens had cut their throats. They were about to find out that humans could bite back. The group settled in for the night, silent and alert, their weapons ready. Above them the sky remained empty but not peaceful. Shadows would return. The hunt was far from over. But now humanity had a spark that refused to be crushed. Noah stared into the ruins of the city, the firelight reflecting in his eyes. Somewhere out there, someone was coming. Someone who could help them fight. And if not, they would have to fight alone. But they would fight, and they would survive. The city was quiet again, but quiet was dangerous. Noah, Lena, Rook, Finn, and the older woman moved cautiously through the ruins, sticking to shadows and broken buildings. Every step could be their last. Every sound could be the signal of an alien patrol nearby. The first night had been survived. The second had given them hope. But now, the real fight was beginning. They found another group of survivors in a half-collapsed apartment block. A small family huddled in the stairwell. A man with a wrench clutched tightly in his hands, and a young woman who had been helping the injured. They welcomed the newcomers without hesitation. Together, they shared what they knew. The aliens cut in silence, they strike with precision, and their fear of human endurance was real. Noah looked around the room at the faces of the survivors. Fear was still there, but under it, a new feeling had begun to grow. Defiance. People were tired of running, tired of hiding. They wanted to fight back, even if it meant dying. Rook unrolled an old city map on the floor.
"We need to plan," he said, "not just hide."
"If we want to survive, we must hit them where it hurts, where they are weakest." Lena nodded, wrapping her bleeding arm. "Close combat," she said quietly. "They fear humans when humans fight up close."
They expect us to break. We don't.
The older woman, who had stayed silent most of the time, spoke. "Then we make traps. We make weapons. We make them afraid of us, too." Noah felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had never been a leader, but in this moment he had no choice. "We'll start small," he said. "Hit one patrol. Survive."
Then we grow. The first target was a small alien scouting group moving through the lower streets.
The survivors used debris and rubble to create traps. Rocks stacked on ledges, metal rods hidden behind broken walls, wires strung to trip the aliens. Every detail counted. Every trap could save a life. The night was long. They waited in silence, hearts hammering, ears straining for any sound. Then they heard it, a soft hum above, the faint movement of the alien patrol. Noah signaled, and the group moved into position. Finn's hands shook as he held a heavy pipe. Lena's grip on her knife was steady, and Rook adjusted a makeshift sling for a rock. The aliens came, moving in their silent, precise way. They paused, scanning the streets. One stepped onto a wire trap. A bucket of debris fell from above, hitting it squarely. The alien hissed, a sound unlike anything Noah had heard, sharp and high-pitched. It stumbled. Then Lena struck, slashing at its armor. The others followed, hitting, kicking, throwing. The alien faltered, not used to resistance like this. It turned and fled, dragging one leg awkwardly, confused by the humans who refused to fall. Noah felt a thrill he had never known. Victory small and dangerous, but real. The group cheered quietly. Too loud would attract attention, but the energy spread through them.
They were learning.
The fight was not over. Every patrol they hit made the aliens more cautious. Noah realized the pattern. The more humans resisted, the more the aliens hesitated. Fear, which had been their weapon, was turning against them. Days passed, and news came from other parts of the city. Survivors in factories, in old tunnels, in crumbled schools. They were doing the same thing, fighting back in small ways, resisting, surviving. The aliens grew frustrated. Their clean, precise attacks were slowing. Mistakes began to appear. Some squads returned empty-handed. Others hesitated when humans showed defiance. Noah, Lena, Rook, Finn, and the older woman began moving beyond their small sector. They rescued people trapped in collapsed buildings, provided first aid, and taught the survivors basic defense. A young boy, barely 10, learned how to swing a heavy pipe.
A mechanic repaired a broken generator to provide light without drawing attention. A teacher taught children to stay quiet but alert.
The aliens adapted, but humans adapted faster. They learned to strike in groups, to use traps and debris, to take advantage of the environment. They fought even when wounded. They screamed, shouted, and threw themselves at the invaders with raw, desperate strength. One night, the group cornered a small alien squad in a ruined plaza. The aliens expected fear, but they found none. Humans struck with broken metal, with stones, with whatever they could hold. The aliens stumbled, retreated, and one of them froze entirely when a human charged it with nothing but bare hands. Noah watched as the alien fled. It did not strike back. It hesitated, panicked. The humans had won another small victory, and each victory taught them more. Each strike taught them courage. Each life saved taught them defiance. But survival was not enough. They needed allies. Rook worked on the transmitter, repairing and strengthening it. Lena treated injuries. Noah organized defenses. The older woman trained fighters in close combat. Finn ran messages between groups, fearless in his small way. Then came the first response. A faint signal, almost too weak to detect, pulsed from deep space. Someone was listening. Someone else had survived. Maybe not on Earth, but they were out there, somewhere. Noah stared at the screen as the signal repeated. Hope surged through him, but it came with a sharp edge of fear. The aliens would not stop. They were fast, ruthless, and relentless. But humanity had learned something vital. Pain did not break them. Fear did not break them. Anger, determination, and teamwork made them dangerous in ways the aliens could not predict. As the sun began to rise over the ruined city, the survivors stood on a broken rooftop. Smoke rose from distant fires. The smell of destruction thickened the air. But the humans who remained alive were beginning to understand the truth. The aliens had underestimated them. They had expected humans to collapse under terror and blood. Instead, humans had learned to fight back. Noah clenched his fists, feeling the heat of determination. Lena placed a hand on his shoulder. Rook checked the map again. The older woman sharpened her knife. Finn looked at the horizon, wide-eyed but ready. They would fight. They would survive, and slowly, carefully, they would turn the tables. The aliens had cut their throats. Now humanity was learning how to bite back. Noah looked at the city, at the fires, at the ruins, and knew this was only the beginning. Every strike, every rescue, every trap laid, was teaching the humans something the aliens could not understand. Humans did not yield. Humans did not break. Humans endured, and they struck back harder with every loss. The signal pulsed again, faint but steady. Out there, somewhere in the galaxy, other humans waited. Perhaps they could bring weapons, supplies, or knowledge. Perhaps they could help. Perhaps they were humanity's chance to turn this war around. But until then, Noah and the survivors would fight alone. And in the darkness, in the ruins of their world, the humans learned a truth they had always known, but had never tested. Pain can forge strength. Fear can forge courage. And when cornered, humanity bites back. Noah raised his head to the sky. The horizon was dark, but not empty. The aliens would return. They always returned. But now, the humans would be ready. And when the next strike came, it would not find prey waiting quietly in the shadows. It would find hunters. And hunters did not die easily. The city trembled under distant explosions, the fires burning brighter, the smoke rising higher, and the humans waited, sharp and ready, for the next shadow to fall. They were no longer just survivors. They were the beginning of resistance, and the aliens would learn. Every cut, every attack, every strike only made the humans stronger. They would bite back. The survivors moved through the ruins with a careful rhythm now. Each step was measured, each movement calculated. Noah led the group, Lena close by, Rook carrying what remained of the transmitter, Finn alert and restless, and the older woman at the rear, watching for danger. The city was quiet, but the quiet no longer frightened them. They had learned to listen not for silence but for movement, for signs of what was coming. They reached a warehouse that had survived the first attack. It smelled of rust and oil, but it was solid. The walls were cracked, but the structure still stood. Inside, they found more survivors. People who had hidden during the attacks, people who had fought back in small ways but survived only by luck. There was a mechanic named Tomas, who could fix almost anything, a teacher named Mira who had kept children safe in a basement for days, and a group of young adults who had scavenged weapons from abandoned buildings. Rook began setting up the transmitter immediately. He worked silently, carefully connecting wires, soldering loose connections, trying to amplify the signal. Lena and Noah helped, carrying equipment and keeping watch. The older woman organized the newcomers, showing them how to stay alert, how to use the environment to their advantage. Finn ran messages and small tools between groups. "They won't expect this," Rook said finally. "The aliens know humans are stubborn, but they expect chaos. They do not expect organization." Noah nodded. "Then we give them organization. We give them resistance. And we fight smart." The group began planning attacks on small alien patrols. They were careful, targeting only patrols that would not draw overwhelming attention. They set traps, created ambush points, and learned to move silently. Each attack was quick, precise, and brutal. The aliens stumbled, confused by the humans who refused to fear them. In one small square, a patrol of 3 aliens moved along the street. Noah signaled the others. Lena and the older woman moved to flank them, while Finn and Tomas rolled a heavy metal crate from above. The crate hit the first alien, knocking it off balance. The others hesitated. Noah and Rook attacked with metal pipes and jagged wood. One alien fell to the ground, its armor cracked, dark fluid leaking from a wound. The remaining aliens retreated, a soundless flight, leaving the humans standing in the street, victorious and alive. News of these small victories spread through the ruins. Other survivors began joining the group, bringing knowledge of the city, weapons, and courage. Humans who had hidden now fought. Humans who had feared now struck back. Fear was no longer the tool of the aliens. Fear belonged to the humans, but it was sharpened into resolve, not paralysis. Noah and Lena went over the map again, plotting supply routes and safe zones. Thomas repaired old vehicles for transport and improvised weapons. Rook worked to strengthen the signal, hoping to contact other human colonies in space. Finn continued running messages, learning the city's ruins like a maze he could navigate blindfolded. The older woman drilled close combat techniques into the newcomers, teaching them how to fight in narrow streets where the aliens could not use their speed advantage. One night, a faint light appeared on the horizon. The signal had been answered. Another human fleet, thought lost after the first attacks, was returning. Their ships were old, patched together from scavenged parts, but they carried weapons, supplies, and experienced crews. The humans on the ground watched from rooftops as the ships descended slowly, cautious but deliberate. Mara, the leader of the fleet, stepped forward to greet Noah and the others. She had survived in a distant colony, learning to fight, to endure, and to adapt. She understood the aliens in a way the survivors on Earth were just beginning to comprehend.
"We've come to help," Mara said, "but you must learn quickly."
They are strong, but they fear what they cannot predict. That is where humans have power. Noah nodded. We have learned already. Every strike, every resistance makes them hesitate. Mara smiled faintly. Then you are ready to fight smarter. Not just survive, not just resist. Strike.
Together, they planned a coordinated assault on a larger alien patrol.
This would be their first test of combined strength. Humans from the city and the fleet would work together, using knowledge of the terrain, traps, and sheer willpower. The aliens had relied on fear and precision. Now, they would face strategy, endurance, and coordination. The attack began at dawn. Humans moved through the streets silently, positioning themselves in abandoned buildings, alleys, and rooftops. The patrol moved as expected, confident in its speed and precision. Then the humans struck. Crates fell, metal rods swung, and makeshift explosives detonated in the path of the aliens. Confused and unable to predict the strikes, the aliens faltered. Noah led a direct attack, moving through the chaos with a metal bar in hand. Lena and the older woman flanked, striking with knives and makeshift weapons. Rook coordinated from above, directing teams to intercept retreating aliens. Finn ran through the streets, warning groups and helping with traps. The humans fought with precision, not fear. The aliens stumbled, retreated, and for the first time, one turned and fled entirely, leaving the patrol incomplete. Mara watched, noting the patterns, the hesitation, and the growing confidence of the humans.
"This is just the beginning,"
she said. They will adapt, but so will we. Humans are dangerous because they do not give up.
They endure, and they strike back when cornered.
Noah felt a surge of pride. The city was still in ruins, the fire still burned, and the aliens were still out there. But humans had found a spark in the darkness. They had begun to organize, to fight back, to show the aliens that cutting throats did not mean victory. As night fell, the survivors regrouped. They counted the injured, the lost, and the alive. Each life saved was a victory. Each strike against the aliens was a lesson learned. The city trembled under distant explosions. Fires lit up the horizon, but the humans moved with a new confidence. Noah looked at Lena.
"We are learning," he said.
"Yes," she replied.
"And they're learning too. They will be afraid of us soon enough."
Rook checked the transmitter one last time. The signal had strengthened, pulses reaching far into space. Somewhere out there, other humans had heard. Somewhere out there, help was coming. The older woman sharpened her knife, watching the shadows. "Let them come," she said. "We are ready." Noah raised his eyes to the sky. The city was dark, broken, and dangerous. But humans were no longer hiding. Humans were no longer just trying to survive. They were learning to fight, to organize, to strike back. The aliens had underestimated them, and soon the humans would make them pay for it. The fires burned higher. Smoke filled the sky. Shadows moved in the distance. And in the heart of the ruined city, humans waited, sharp and ready, for the next strike. They had learned one truth. Humans endure, humans resist, and humans bite back. Noah looked at the horizon. The next battle would be worse. The aliens would return in greater numbers. But humans were ready. And when the aliens came, they would find hunters, not prey. Noah clenched his fists. The fight was far from over. But for the first time he felt certain of one thing. Humans could win. The city was no longer a place of fear. It was a place of resistance. And resistance was only the beginning. The city was no longer quiet. Fires burned in every district, smoke thick and black, filling the streets and alleys. Humans moved among the ruins now with a purpose. They no longer ran from the shadows. They hunted them. Noah, Lena, Rook, Finn, the older woman, and the new arrivals from Mara's fleet had turned the city into a battlefield. Every corner, every rooftop, every alley was a trap, a potential strike point. Humans were no longer just surviving. They were striking back. The aliens, once confident, had begun to hesitate. Every time a patrol entered the streets, they moved cautiously, scanning for threats, calculating risk. Humans had learned their weakness: close quarters, unpredictability, endurance. Now it was time to take the fight to them. Noah stood on the edge of a broken rooftop surveying the city. Lena was beside him, her face set, eyes sharp. Rook checked the positions of the teams below, his hands steady even in the chaos. Finn ran back and forth, delivering messages and weapons, fearless now, full of energy. The older woman sharpened knives and drilled newcomers, teaching them how to strike without hesitation. Mara coordinated from the largest building, directing humans with experience and precision.
"We move at first light," Mara said.
We hit them where they think they are safe. They rely on fear. We give them none. They rely on precision. We give them chaos. They rely on silence. We give them noise, confusion, and pain. Noah nodded. This was more than a fight. It was a war of psychology. The aliens had thought humans would fall. They had underestimated the rage, determination, and stubbornness that lived inside every human. Now, that rage was organized, precise, and deadly. The first strike team moved quietly through the ruins, led by Noah and Lena. They used the buildings, rubble, and smoke to hide their movements. Rook and a group of engineers set traps along streets the aliens were expected to patrol. Explosive charges made from scavenged chemicals and old electronics were placed behind corners. Metal rods, boards, and stones were prepared to be thrown at any alien that approached. The first patrol appeared as predicted, 3 aliens moving through the streets with their usual silence and deadly efficiency. They paused, sensing nothing unusual at first. Then the first trap detonated. A cloud of smoke and debris erupted, throwing the aliens off balance. Noah struck with his metal bar. Lena slashed with knives. The older woman joined with precise movements. The aliens stumbled, confused. They had never faced this kind of coordinated resistance. Noah saw an alien hesitate as a human charged with nothing but bare hands. It froze, unsure, and that moment gave Lena the chance to strike. One by one, the aliens fell back, retreating from the humans who refused to fear them. The humans pressed the advantage. Finn ran across rooftops, dropping metal rods and debris onto retreating aliens. Thomas and other engineers detonated small charges in their path. Mara's fleet fired from above with scavenged weapons, creating confusion among the aliens and cutting off escape routes. The patrol tried to regroup, but humans had learned their patterns. Each strike forced the aliens to retreat further. One alien, cornered in a narrow alley, froze entirely. Humans surrounded it, striking from multiple directions. Finally it fled, limping and hesitant, leaving the humans victorious. Noah felt a surge of power. Each victory built confidence. Each strike taught the humans more. They were no longer just defending. They were taking the fight to the aliens. Every corner of the city became a trap. Every human a potential hunter. Rook's transmitter buzzed. Another signal from space. Another human colony responding. Supplies, weapons, and more experienced fighters would soon arrive. Humans were uniting, and their strength grew with each passing hour. But the aliens were learning too. They began sending larger patrols, more carefully, moving cautiously through the streets. Humans had to adapt quickly. They learned to split into smaller teams, strike from multiple directions, and use the environment to confuse the aliens. The city became a chessboard, with humans and aliens moving in deadly, calculated ways. One night, a larger alien unit entered a district where civilians were hiding. Humans, alerted by scouts, moved quickly. Traps went off, cutting off escape routes. Explosions rocked the streets. Humans attacked from rooftops, alleys, and shadows. The aliens faltered, their coordination disrupted by the human strategy and unpredictability. Noah led a direct strike, moving through the chaos with metal bars and knives, shouting commands and encouragement. Lena flanked the patrol with precise strikes. The older woman and Finn moved through the chaos, creating confusion, and Rook coordinated traps and signals. Even the youngest fighters, armed with pipes and rocks, struck when the moment was right. The aliens retreated, a rare sight. They had never encountered such coordinated, persistent, and fearless resistance. Humans had turned their own strategy against them. Fear, once a weapon, now belonged to the aliens. Humans pressed the advantage, pursuing them carefully without overextending. Mara's fleet provided cover and additional attacks from above, slowing reinforcements and giving humans more control of the battlefield. Supplies and weapons were distributed to the survivors, strengthening the city's defenses and improving coordination. Every strike, every trap, every fight taught humans something new. They were evolving faster than the aliens expected. Noah stood atop a building, watching the horizon as alien units retreated. Fires burned across the city, smoke filling the air, and humans moved through the streets with renewed purpose. They were no longer just survivors. They were hunters. They were organized. They were dangerous. Lena joined him, her face smeared with dirt and blood, but her eyes sharp. "They didn't expect this," she said. "They thought we would break." "They were wrong," Noah nodded.
"Every time we strike, they learn."
"But we are learning faster. They fear what they cannot predict. That is our advantage." Rook joined them, checking the transmitter. "More signals are coming in. Supplies and reinforcements are on the way. We are no longer alone." The older woman appeared, sharpening her knife. "Let them come. We are ready. They think they can destroy humans with fear. They are about to learn that humans endure, resist, and strike back harder than they ever imagined." Noah felt the weight of what they had achieved and the burden of what was still to come. The city was a battlefield. The aliens were relentless, but humans were no longer prey. They had become hunters, strategists, and warriors. Every fire, every explosion, every strike against the aliens reminded them of one truth: humans are not weak. Humans are not fragile. Humans endure. Humans resist. Humans fight, and humans bite back. Noah looked at the horizon, at the fires and smoke rising into the dark sky. The aliens would return in greater numbers. They would be more cautious, more prepared, more dangerous. But humanity had learned. Humanity had adapted. Humanity had risen. The city trembled under distant impacts and explosions, but humans moved through the streets with precision, strategy, and courage. Each survivor, each fighter, each rescued civilian added strength to the resistance. Every strike made the aliens hesitate, unsure, afraid. Noah clenched his fists, feeling the determination building inside him. The fight was far from over. The aliens were strong, fast, and ruthless. But humans were stronger in ways the aliens could not understand. Humans endured what the aliens could not imagine. Humans refused to die quietly. The city was no longer just a place to hide. It was a place to fight. And fight they would, with every ounce of strength, courage, and defiance they had left. The aliens had cut their throats. Now humans would show them that biting back was only the beginning. Noah lifted his head, staring into the dark horizon. Fires burned. Smoke filled the sky, and the city was alive with humans ready to strike. The next battle was coming. And when it arrived, The humans would not just survive. They would fight. They would endure. They would bite back. The sky above the ruined city was dark, heavy with smoke and fire. The air smelled of ash, metal, and sweat. Every street, alley, and rooftop was filled with humans ready to fight. Noah, Lena, Rook, Finn, the older woman, and Mara stood together, looking over the city they had begun to reclaim. The humans who remained alive had grown strong, organized, and fearless. The aliens had underestimated them, and now the moment of reckoning had come. Mara's fleet hovered above, small but steady, scanning for alien reinforcements. Signals from other human colonies pulsed faintly in the background. Supplies, weapons, and reinforcements were arriving. Noah knew that today humans would stop hiding. Today, they would strike with everything they had. "They'll come," Mara said quietly. "They always come back. But now they know fear is ours, not theirs. That is our advantage." Noah nodded, feeling the weight of his responsibility. Every survivor, every fighter, every child who had been saved depended on them. The aliens had cut the world open, expecting humans to fall. Instead, humans had risen. Every trap, every strike, every act of courage had built something the aliens could not predict: organized, relentless resistance. The first patrol appeared. A dozen alien figures moved through the streets, precise and silent. They expected fear. They expected humans to scatter. They did not expect an ambush prepared with care, traps, and resolve. The humans waited. Silence filled the city, tense and sharp. Then the first trap detonated. A crate of debris fell from above, smashing into the first alien. Smoke and sparks filled the street. Noah charged with a metal bar in hand. Lena at his side, the older woman slashing with knives. Finn and Thomas rolled barrels and threw debris from rooftops. Rook signaled from above, coordinating every move with precision. The aliens faltered. They were fast, but humans had learned to predict their movements, to anticipate their strikes, and to fight without fear. One alien fell, armor cracked, dark fluid spilling onto the street. Another hesitated as a human charged with nothing but bare hands. Its moment of hesitation allowed Lena to strike, and the alien fell back. The rest retreated, leaving the humans victorious. But the humans did not stop. Every patrol that appeared was met with the same organized resistance. Traps, ambushes, and direct attacks forced the aliens to retreat, rethink, and hesitate. Humans moved through the city with purpose, striking in coordination, rescuing civilians and reinforcing civilians. Every attack taught the humans more about their enemy, and every retreat by the aliens confirmed the humans' growing dominance. The alien commanders observing from above began to realize something terrifying. Humans were not prey. Humans were hunters. They endured pain, resisted fear, and struck back with precision and strategy. Every loss forced them to adapt faster than the aliens could respond. Noah led a team toward the central command area where a large alien unit had gathered. Mara coordinated with the fleet to provide cover, suppress reinforcements, and create confusion among the aliens. Traps and ambushes forced the alien units into narrow streets and alleys where their speed was useless, where their precision could be countered by human unpredictability. Noah and Lena moved through the chaos, striking down any alien that threatened the civilians hiding nearby. Finn carried messages, weapons, and supplies, darting through streets like a shadow. The older woman flanked alien units, her knives precise and deadly. Rook coordinated attacks from a safe distance, ensuring every trap worked in unison. The aliens faltered. One by one, squads retreated, panicked by humans who refused to give up. A large alien commander hesitated as humans attacked from all sides. The humans pressed the advantage, striking from rooftops, behind walls, and through alleys. Every strike was calculated, every move precise. The commander finally fled, limping, and the remaining aliens scattered. Humans had won the battle. Not a single survivor of the alien patrol remained in the city streets. Fires burned, smoke rose, but humans moved through the ruins with confidence, rescuing the injured, comforting the scared, and reinforcing their positions. Noah stood atop a broken building, looking at the horizon. The city was theirs, at least for now. The humans had fought together, endured together, and struck together. They had survived the worst and turned the fight into something the aliens could not understand. Mara approached him. "They will return," she said. "But now they fear you. They fear humans because humans do not give up. They do not break. They endure. They resist. And they strike when cornered." Noah nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He thought of every life lost, every injury, every fear they had faced. And yet, here they were, stronger, organized, and unbroken. Humanity had proven itself. The aliens had come to erase them, but humans had survived, adapted, and fought back. The city trembled under distant explosions as alien forces retreated. Mara's fleet moved cautiously above, ensuring no reinforcements could reach the city. Signals from other human colonies pulsed steadily, offering hope and resources. Noah felt a surge of pride. Humans had not just survived. They had fought, endured, and now they had won. The first step toward reclaiming their world. Lena joined him, her face dirty and streaked with blood, but her eyes sharp. "We are not done," she said. "But they know fear now. And we know how to fight." Noah looked around at the survivors. Each person had endured pain, loss, and terror. Each had fought despite fear, despite exhaustion, despite hopeless odds. They were not just survivors. They were warriors. Rook checked the transmitter one last time. The signal to other human colonies pulsed steady. Help was coming. Supplies, weapons, and more fighters would soon arrive. Humanity would no longer fight alone. The older woman sharpened her knives, ready for the next attack. Finn ran messages alerting teams and civilians. Tomas and the engineers repaired structures and weapons. Mara coordinated from above, overseeing the growing resistance. Noah clenched his fists, feeling determination and hope mixing into one sharp, burning force. The fight had been long, dangerous, and terrifying, but humans had learned something vital. Pain does not break them, fear does not stop them, and death does not silence their will to fight. The aliens had cut their throats. Now humanity had shown them something they could not anticipate. Humans endure. Humans resist, humans strike back. Noah raised his eyes to the horizon. Fires burned, smoke climbed, but the humans stood strong. The battle was won, but the war was not over. The aliens would return faster, stronger, more cunning. But humans were ready. They would not hide. They would not falter. The city was alive with the energy of survivors turned warriors. Every strike against the aliens, every trap laid, every human saved added to the growing strength of the resistance. Humanity had risen from the ruins of fear and death, unbroken and unstoppable. Noah felt the truth in his bones. They had survived, fought, and now humanity had changed the rules of the fight. The aliens would never underestimate them again. The humans had endured. They had resisted. They had bitten back. And they would continue to bite back harder with every attack, stronger with every loss, and united with every life saved. The city trembled beneath distant explosions. Shadows moved in the distance. Fires lit the ruins. The humans waited, ready for whatever came next. Noah looked at Lena, Rook, the older woman, Finn, and Mara. "We have survived," he said. "We have fought, and we will endure." The aliens had thought they could erase humanity. They had been wrong. Humans would rise from the ashes, stronger, smarter, and more dangerous than ever. And the universe would know one truth. Humans endure, humans resist, and humans bite back. The city was theirs, for now. But the humans knew that this was only the beginning. They would not just survive. They would fight. They would endure. They would bite back, and the aliens would never forget it.